Muchas gracias y la verdad felicidades por los proyectos y bueno, ya nada más falta uno, ya vamos a acabar y vamos a dejar el último a un panel de Proptech de innovación. And I'm going to switch to English. It's going to be in English. We have English spoken speakers, so I'm going to ask my friend Carlos Rousseau, who is the president of REACH. He can introduce and come here to the stage. Okay, introduce all of the panelists. Thank you very much and a big applause, please.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for sticking up till this last talk. We're going to have an excellent panel here of experts, 2 VCs, 2 startups, and we're going to be talking about Proptech, which is disrupting the real estate markets. And because this is the last panel, we're going to be accepting questions from the audience also. So if you feel comfortable to ask anything you want. And I'm going to let the panelists present themselves quickly. So we start with you from that side, Rodrigo.
My name is Rodrigo Torres. I'm the CEO and founder of Brixel.
Hi, I'm Lorena Ariza, CEO and co-founder of Veleta.
Here we go. I'm Tyler Thompson, managing partner of Second Century Ventures.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Hill, and I'm general partner at Point Day Ventures.
Thank you all for showing up for this panel. I want to start by telling everybody what is Proptech for you. I mean, how do you think Proptech, the combination of Proptech and technology, property technology, and all the real estate tech is changing the game in the US and in Mexico? I don't know if somebody from the US that wants to start?
I think it's a really interesting question. I started in investing in 2014 in the US for a very large fund in Chicago. And it was a fund in and around real estate before there was the name Proptech. And I think as people started raising funds, as big real estate owners and operators started raising corporate venture capital, I don't know who coined the name, but somebody said property technology. And I've always disliked that name because it's really hard to define what Proptech is. I always say that it's anything around a building or a home, and it really doesn't have a definition. It can be something in real estate, it can be something in fintech, it could be something for insurance, it could be something in the service business. So I really think what Proptech is anything that enables people that own, live in, work in, play in, or operate real estate to do that more efficiently. And so, we've coined that term Proptech, but I think it really encompasses a whole bunch of different technologies across all the different asset classes.
And I think it's important also to point out the fact that we're not investing in technologies that are looking to disrupt practitioners. You as developers, practitioners, investors, et cetera, you are essential to every one of these transactions and what takes place in real estate. So the technologies that we're interested in when it comes to prop tech, place tech, whatever you want to call it, really is there to empower you to do your jobs more efficiently and better.
Great, thank you. Thank you for responses. I mean, you guys are more like in the fun game. Let's hear from the founders. I mean, how hard has it been to start something so innovative like what you're doing in this market? And tell us a little bit about what you're doing at Brixel and Veleta, please. Lorena, if you want to start, because...
Yeah, thank you. Well, in Veleta, we are redefining the experience to the customers and to the real estate agents. We are a real estate marketplace for premium properties to list, to sell and rent premium properties in Mexico. And we're not doing it by ourselves. We are building communities with real estate agents so we can enhance the experience for the final customer. It is not about just selling and buying, the selling and buying process, but it is to give a human face to the people that is willing to do an important investment in Mexico. Because, I mean, we have faced a lot of challenges right now, not only in Mexico, but in Latin America, about security and transparency on online transactions. So we are trying to make this process, these online processes, the more humanized as possible through experienced people, through experienced real estate agents.
Hey, well, we at Brixel, we believe that the industry that's not adopting technology is an industry that's about to die. So we believe in implementing technology as much as possible to streamline the process of buying a property, but not without forgetting about the stakeholders that are currently living out of that industry. So we empower brokers, we empower realtors to help this transaction between buying and selling a property to be as fast and easy as possible. So we use technology in property tech. Basically, we believe property tech is the implementation of technology to cut costs, optimize the process, and give an ultimate benefit to the end user, which is the buyer or the seller of the property.
Thank you. So we talk a lot about challenges in PropTech and what's going on with everything that we can imagine right now, high cost of capital, regulations. What contrast, I mean, you guys have been all over the world talking to startups, founding companies. What difference do you see, or what challenges do you see when you come to LATAM and see these PropTech starting? Regulations, or are there challenges there? What can you tell us that you see this contrast between different regions?
Yeah, so I got to Mexico in 2020, and I can tell you in the last 3 years, there's been a fundamental change in the way that people have approached technology. I got here after investing in over 100 companies across the globe, and I stayed because I think the opportunity here is greater than any region in the world. And the reason for that is the people that are sitting on stage and the entrepreneurs here that have refused to have the inefficiency of the real estate ecosystem be that way forever. And so it was very refreshing after investing in, things that really didn't move the needle, or in investments that really didn't help the everyday person, and to come to Latin America and realize the things that the people are doing on stage, there's a passion to change the way that people live and work and order food and order services. And when you get here as an outsider, you can be very frustrated in the inefficiencies here.
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity to build a foundation for real estate, right? And the way that we buy, that we sell, the way that we develop, the way we invest, et cetera. What I loved and what made me so excited about working with founders here was their level of excitement. It reminded me of San Francisco or San Jose 25 years ago, where you have this opportunity, as Sean said, to really make a difference and actually create meaningful change and processes that will drive this market moving forward. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I can see that the landscape in other more developed countries or more developed markets, they have already set the foundations for cutting-edge technology. So now it's our turn in Latin America to adopt all these technologies that, of course, I mean, for us, for users, for end users, is like a gold mine, So, I mean, we're building like a one-stop shop, so we can have everything in one place, so real estate agents or end users, I mean individuals, can transact more efficiently and more quickly in Mexico for real estate.
I'll caution you that even though the foundations exist in some of these other markets like the US, and we've done some things well in the US, there's some things that we have not done well, right? So I love the fact that you have an opportunity to do some of those things better and to maybe build a better foundation that we have in the US. But you do have the advantage of kind of looking at what's worked relative to a digital transaction, digital signature, identifying a buyer, information, all of those things. So you can take some of those foundational elements, but I love the entrepreneurial spirit and kind of the understanding that you have the ability to do it even better than some of these other markets have done it.
Yeah, there is an advantage of going second or third or fourth, depending upon what that market is. And so what Latin Americans been able to do because of internet, penetration, smartphone penetration, because people don't live within hours of banks and hospitals, is really leapfrog that, and especially on the real estate side, some of the platforms that you're building. I'd like you to talk just how you help people do that.
Yeah, well, I believe it's really exciting for me to implement tech into real estate. I've owned a real estate company for the last 12 years, so I'm also a bit of a geek regarding tech. I'm not a developer, but I love checking out what's happening around the world, right? So I get a bit of a frustration. I've been getting it for the last 10 years of realizing what's people doing out there and why are we implementing it. So it's exciting for me to, finally, being on stage and trying to do a change, because if we don't do it, no one's going to do it, all right? And it's such a comfort for me, for us, for startups, to know there's guys like you that's looking towards us, and obviously it's interesting for us, and I think for everyone, to understand what are you guys are looking for in startups here in order to help us, because to be honest, LATAM lacks of money, but not of passion, right? So we're looking and we'd like to understand what you guys are looking for in Mexican startups.
Yeah, we're looking to really build community here. The reason that we're successful in other markets is because of the people that we bring together to solve these problems. So that's founders, technologists, investors, practitioners, et cetera. So with our team here, Carlos leads the team here, it's really bringing all of those stakeholders together. And then they're incredible founders, so looking for that is really important. But in order to make change, especially when you're the first mover and you're building some of these foundational elements, it's much easier to do that when you have a community of people that are bringing their ideas, their efforts, their energies together to make some of those changes possible.
Yeah. No one has ever said that Latins have lacked passion. So, I think that first, being a startup founder is like diving off of a diving board and not knowing how deep the pool is. It is super hard. You're not getting a paycheck on Friday. You're doing something new. You're the first mover. And so we invest in people that understand that embrace that, and that are okay with doing something new. I would caution people to just take something that's worked in the US or Europe or Asia and say, I can just do that here in Latin America. The copycat syndrome in emerging markets is real, and it doesn't always work. There's lots of things in Latin America that are much different than India or China or Europe or the US, so I would be just cautious to say, it worked in the US, it's going to work here. And it's really just, it's less about the idea, because the idea is going to change 7 times. Uber was not Uber when it started. Airbnb was not when it started. All of Google and Facebook wasn't when it started. So it is that passion, it is that drive, and it's just determination, and that you understand the business. I think coming from the business and being an operator in real estate really helps you understand how real estate works. I don't want a doctor that's trying to do a real estate platform. It's great, I'm sure they're smart, but it's just like I wouldn't want a real estate agent to operate on me as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. The last time I checked, I think I saw more than 10,000 companies worldwide playing in this Proptech arena. And I remember the $25 billion investment in 2021. Now it has come down a little bit. I think the trend is going to be continuing with a lot of investment, a lot of companies coming with different solutions. Who are going to be, what are the hottest trends right now in startups? What do you see as solutions that are really going to be winners in this environment?
I mean, first of all, I think it's important to talk about the fact that there's less capital is not necessarily a bad thing. We were giving away money. People were spending money with no real yield from that capital. And so I think it's good that founders have to get back to fundamentals, right, and focusing on building real businesses. So I don't think that's a terrible thing. I think you're going to see the cream rise to the top. The people that are really creating good businesses, they're going to succeed. I think the trends, they're all over the place. And as Sean mentioned, it's not just Proptech. It's really anything that touches where we live, work, and play, right? So we're seeing huge advancements in sustainability, in climate tech, things that are really important, real dollars going into those things. In the US, there's a low inventory, so just access to homes, affordability of homes, and that's not just low-income housing, that's people living in San Francisco that make $250,000 a year that can't buy a home, right? So you have a lot of different opportunities, and then we have a bit of a crisis when it comes to commercial office space in the US specifically, right? We have a lot of people that haven't come back to the office, we have interest rates really high, we have notes coming due, so the question is, how can you revitalize that space, whether it's just traditional office or there's a hybrid of some sort, co-living, can you transition that space into something else? So we're seeing opportunities in every facet of what touches kind of place.
What I love about Latin investors is they mostly come from families that have traditional businesses. So they're not coming from the same Silicon Valley mindset as many of the founders in the US that we just get a lot of money and we just go spend it and we have parties on Friday. So many of the folks that we've talked to, they can't get money from their family because they said, until you make money, I'm not giving you money, right? So it's a different mindset. People raise less money here, so I don't think you need the same amount of capital in Latin America. Labor costs are cheaper, so you don't need to, you don't need to raise as much money. So I think there's a lot of advantages that people just, this place has always been capital restrained, so it doesn't need to have the same amount of capital as US first. And then I think on the other side, we talked a bit about the nearshoring and everyone's talking about that. But I do believe in the intersection of real estate and sustainability because you can't build industrial in Nuevo León if you don't have power and water and waste and all of those other things. So Mexico is constrained by its resources. It is a resource-rich country. It has 50% of all of the resources needed for green energy here. So it has the ability, if it keeps its resources within its borders, to do very, very well. But that's where most of the money, I think, in the U.S. and Mexico will have to figure out a way to keep its resources here and to really help drive that demand in real estate development and infrastructure.
Thanks. At the end of the day, every vertical in the real estate chain is being affected by these new innovations, and there is a lot of opportunities around the world. And now in Mexico, we have mapped 150 companies, so we are at a very early stage in this sense. We're starting we're starting to see more programs like REACH come to the region. Lorena, you just graduated from the first cohort. Congratulations. I mean, it was today. And tell us a little bit, how does a program like REACH has helped you in your quest as a founder?
Yeah, I mean, it has been like an amazing journey. At first, when I met the directors of the program, they told us that it will be like a family here, and it is. I mean, it's a platform where we had the opportunity, early stage startups, as Veleta, we had the opportunity to meet these incredible people, stakeholders, industry experts that gave us like a whole, the whole picture about what we have in front of us, the opportunity. They have introduced us to clients, potential investors, a lot of industry experts that gave us a lot of strategy for our business development. I mean, I think it's a platform for growth and scale. And of course, I mean, network and exposure we have had with forums like this one, at summits like this one, it has been amazing. Of course, the mentorship and the ability to connect with so great companies all around the globe. No, UK, we were just, a month ago, we were having the summit in San Diego with all these amazing companies all around the world, discussing about alliances and potential integrations with in Latin America. I mean, I have never seen so many passion about other companies abroad on making alliances with totally Mexican companies. So it has been amazing, and I truly believe that we will have, this is just the beginning, as you said before, of a long-term relationship, and of course we will see a growth of excellent companies that are my fellow teams.
Thank you, Lorena. Rodrigo, you're playing in a very important field, and I've sensed that there are more competitors out there. Do you feel there's going to be consolidation in the market? What are you seeing in the arena that you're playing with your solution?
Well, it's good you asked that question, because obviously people who hears about Brixel but doesn't quite listen to it believes Brixel is as a competitor. But it's actually what we created is an ecosystem that invites everyone who's already a stakeholder in the industry to use it as a tool that will help them take advantage of the market that they're not using right now. There's a lot of people out there who are trying to sell their properties by themselves. So we are inviting realtors, brokers, independent, or with a real estate company, to help us help that people complete the process by themselves. So we are actually like a tool. At the beginning, when Airbnb came out to the market, we realtors, we saw it as a threat. But then we realized it was a tool. That instead of me managing five properties, I could manage 50, right? So Brixel is trying to do the same thing. It's trying to allow people use technology to filter buyers, filter owners, streamline the process by adding notaries, realtors, everyone into the system, and doing it faster, cheaper for everyone, and more secure. So, I mean, we just need to be more panels like this for people to get to know us, and maybe a bit of help from venture capital. So we grow faster because we're trying to disrupt an industry that's quite resilient to change. So we're bootstrapping, and we want to be customer-funded business, but at the beginning, it will take us a bit of a hassle to do so.
I think it's important for people in the room that are involved in traditional real estate, and it says innovation and disruption. Technology is here to help you do things cheaper and faster. It's not here to get rid of you. And so I think everyone thinks that everyone in the US has adopted all of this technology, and you walk into an office building and the gates open up and the elevator goes here, and all of this stuff happens. It doesn't. So, you know, there's not a perfect state of Proptech anywhere in the world, but I think it's very important for traditional real estate people, especially in LATAM, to embrace the innovation. It may be disruption to how the current process is, but it's not disrupting the people inside of that process. So I think it's super, super important that you don't look at technology as something that's going to take your job. It's more, how do I get more customers? How do I service them better? How do I build faster? How do I build more sustainable than someone coming to take my job?
Thank you. Guys, time's up. This subject, I mean, we can stay here talking about it. This is our passion. We're going to be around here in the cocktails and anything. We will be glad to chat with you about this interesting subject. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the invitation memo. And we'll see you with a mezcal here at the cocktails. Okay.
Thank you very much.